Today, we're going to be talking about 3 steps to charge planning fees. You guys, if you've been around me and Lou at any amount of length of time, you know that this is something that we preach about. This is something that we implemented in our business. And there's no shame if you haven't implemented this yet. Okay. We used to be agents who didn't have fees as well. Okay. So this is a safe zone. This is we're trying to help you to see the possibility and give you that encouragement that you are worth having a professional planning fee.
At first, we only charge fees. First, we didn't charge any fees.
Right.
Then we charge fees for honeymoons and destination weddings.
Basically, new clients. I always had like that initial contract and fee for anything, for any type of vacation planning. But then, as they were repeat clients, I wouldn't charge them. But then after COVID, I was like, I gotta charge a professional planning fee. Like, what do you need to have in place in your business to start charging professional planning fees? Step 1 is to change your process for when you get a lead.
Well, depending on what you are doing, because the way your whole process when you get a lead will determine your ability to charge the fee.
Yes.
So, for example, if you are someone that grabs the phone rings and you answer it and you do your consultation right then and there, and you give them a bunch of information, and then you say, oh, by the way, to work with me, you have a fee. That is, we highly encourage you not to work with a lead that way, or don't start working with anyone, giving them information about resorts or about their honeymoon until that you've consulted with them.
Right. This was basically one of the things that we had to do. We had to change how we dealt with new leads coming in, new inquiries. Nowadays, new inquiries are coming in from multiple different areas. Of course, back in the day, we had them coming in on our forms, on our website. We had them coming in through email. We had them coming in through phone, like maybe Facebook. But now it's like you got all these other social platforms people are contacting you on. One of the things that you have to stop doing is allowing open-ended discussions, quotes flying left and right, feeling like you got to drop everything because somebody wants to know how much it costs to go to blah, 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 for 5 people, for X amount of time, for these dates. Like, we got to stop that. We have to first make them realize that we are professional. And one of the ways that you do that is by having a process in place. And we recommend that you have a consultation process. You want, when those leads to come in, no matter how they come into you, you need to have a process to tell them what the next step is in order to consult with you, in order to connect with you. And that would be to schedule consultation. So you would send them to your calendar, right? And then they would be able to schedule a time to talk with you. Because you think about it, like, we're not going to call up our doctor's office and expect our doctor, number one, to answer the phone. The second thing we don't expect is for him to drop everything he's doing and talk to you. Any professional services that you deal with in life, like, pay attention to how they do things, because that's what you want to do, because you need to set the tone for that professionalism so that they treat you like a professional. And the people that are going to follow your process are the people who are serious and they really truly want to work with somebody who is an expert. But the consultation, it's not an opportunity for you to give them a bunch of free information and for them to suck the life out of you. It's an opportunity for you to be in control of the conversation and ask the questions that you need to know in order to be able to best serve them in whatever travel planning services you're providing. Second step is to showcase your value.
Yes, for sure.
So how do you showcase your value? So one of the things that you can do, of course, is share at the end of a consultation, what it's like working with you, some of the things that you provide and how it benefits your client, right? Always looking at everything from a perspective of what you do, how it benefits them. But another way that you can showcase your value is, once you're done with that consultation, is to send a list of services along with your planning fee.
But basically, you need to highlight all of the value that you're giving them. Anytime, I want you to think, a good person who sells will never go for price first. They will always highlight their value of all the things they're going to do for you. So you're going to remind them.
Value stacking. That's the term I'm looking for.
Your value stacking to get to the price. And so basically, you're letting your couples know at the end of the consultation. They might say, how much, what does it take to work with you? Or how much does it cost to work with you? Or what is your fee to work with you, right? And that if they're starting to ask that, you know that you've done your job on the consultation because they want to hire you.
Right.
And then you'll say, and Tammy's good at this, say, hey, don't worry about that. I'll send you all that information over, as well as a list out of everything I will do, and a reminder of a little bit of a reminder of what we talked about today, and a list of all the things that will happen if you hire me.
In our destination wedding course, the 20K system and toolkit, we have examples of this, like lists of services.
Yes.
And always making sure that you're giving a list of services that's realistic to where you are in your business and your level of expertise and the services that you personally provide. So in our program, if you're part of that, in our toolkit download, I have 2 options for that. I have 2 examples. One is for people who are starting out, and one are for people who are more seasoned and have done more destination weddings. I wanted to share with you some examples of minimum recommended travel planning fees that I would suggest. Now, this is just a generic. I'm just gonna, if everyone could just listen to me 1 second here. I am going to give you a general, generic starting out fee, because I don't know who you are personally, and I'm not privately coaching you, right? If I'm coaching you privately and I know a little bit more about your business and the things that you do and the services you provide, I may change these numbers, right? But I'm just wanting to give, especially those people who are like, I don't even know where to start. Like, what would I charge? If I started charging a professional planning fee, what would it be? So I wanted to give you some examples of what you would look at. If you are just planning a regular vacation, if you're a newer agent, $25 per person is a good place to start. If you're a more seasoned agent, $75 per person. Now, this is like a vacation, a one destination vacation, okay? So those are some good examples of planning fees at a per person price for vacation. Now, if you have a multi-destination vacation, you could do $50 per person minimum, or $150 per person if you're more seasoned travel pro. Now, recently I had a family come to me, and we did a trip. Now, they were past clients. So again, the beauty of fees is that you can do what you want. Okay.
It's your business.
It's your business. There were past clients who had booked with me multiple times. They wanted to go to Spain, Paris, and London. So I had a $500 professional planning fee for that. So 1, it was multi-destination. 2, it was multiple people. And 3, I didn't do like the whole 150 per person, because they were past clients, right? So again, you got to do what you got to do when it comes to that, but these are some good ideas. Okay, so a honeymoon, if you're new, $100. Actually, it should be per couple, I think. Let me see what I did here. $100 per couple. $200 per couple for a seasoned travel pro. A multi-destination honeymoon, if you're newer, it would be a $500 fee, not for seasoned, and a $250. So it is per couple. For a cruise, $50 per person if you're a newer agent, $100 per person if you're seasoned agent. I would likely charge more if it were a river cruise. Okay, this is like a Caribbean cruise. This is like an ocean cruise line, a Royal Caribbean Carnival type thing. River cruise, whole different ball of wax. Definitely need to increase your professional planning.
Much more involved than river cruises, much more itinerary, usually places you're going to see and stop at, all that.
The destination wedding, if you're a new destination wedding travel agent, you could do a starting fee of $500, regardless of the size of the group. Now, if you're a seasoned pro, you could have a tier based on how many people. You could have packages. I find that if you did different packages, it's easy to cross the lines on what your package offers and what it doesn't offer. And it's just better to just get that upfront fee and you just cover whatever is going to happen, kind of a thing, right? Like these are the things you don't cover, and those are like easy, and most people don't cross over that line. But when you do the packages, then it's like it gets kind of ouchy when you're like, my services don't cover that. Like you feel weird about that with your relationship. So that's why I say it's really better to just do the per person fee, not being afraid to have a surcharge for travel over holidays. Anytime that your clients are traveling over a major holiday, which would result in you potentially not having a very nice holiday because something goes on, you need to charge more. You need to have like a little clause that says, you know, for holiday travel, there's an X amount of dollar surcharge.
And that's what you have to remember.
Mhm.
People pay for what they want, whether it's an $8 coffee, whether it's a $30, you know, a $2,000 watch, it doesn't matter. People pay for what they want, and our job is to make them want us
Right.
to do their wedding and honeymoon.
Third thing you need to have in place to start charging professional planning fees, or to increase what you are charging as a travel professional, is you need to make sure that you have a way to invoice and collect that fee. In addition to that, it's all about having that contract, right? Having a professional contract, legally binding contract that clearly states what it is that you do and protects you as a business owner, protects you personally in situations as well. So people need to sign that contract, and then they need to pay your invoice, right? And then once they do that, they're your client, and then and only then do you start working for them. You don't start working for them until they hire you, until they've signed your contract and agreed to your terms and paid your invoice.
Tami got hired on her last 2 consultations, and but actually Tami had to fire some, because the personality. There were 2 grooms. That doesn't usually happen. Usually it's the women, but there's 2 grooms who were pretty pushy. They both wanted Tami to
separate weddings, 2 separate weddings.
2 separate weddings. Yeah, sorry, separate weddings, not 2 grooms getting married, but there's 2 different weddings. She had 2 different consultations in the same week. Both of these guys said, yes, I want you to do our wedding. They hired her, but they were so pushy and so aggressive. Tami's like, you know what? At this stage of my career, I don't need pushy aggressive. And she's like, I'm not the one for you.
No.
Like, this is after working with you with this consultation and just having few experiences with you, it's just, we're not a good match.
Just very demanding, very,
and you're allowed to do that.
Right.
You are allowed to do that. That's what the beauty of the consultation is.
I don't want to be cruel or sound rude or anything, but don't complain about getting ghosted. Don't complain about dealing with tire kickers. Don't complain about people taking your money and running, basically, like taking all of your information and booking on their own. Well, if you're willing to spend the time to do those things, then you should be willing to spend the one time it takes to set up this process so that you don't have to deal with that anymore.
Right.